Oren Sofer, Say What You Mean, A Mindful Approach to Nonviolent Communication. Embark on a journey to rediscover the essence of effective communication with Oren Sofer's insightful book, Say What You Mean, A Mindful Approach to Nonviolent Communication. Through understanding the significance of awareness and presence in conversations, you'll learn to build meaningful connections, avoid conflicts, and engage in dialogues that leave both parties feeling satisfied. This book summary equips you with the underlying principles of effective communication, helping you break free from counterproductive patterns and effortlessly express yourself with empathy.
Communication through awareness. In successful communication, creating understanding through awareness is crucial. Presence is the key to achieving this awareness, which means being physically aware of and sensing all aspects of yourself through your body. It takes time and effort to let go of old communication patterns, but with practice and learning basic principles, presence can be learned. Present in communication. Presence is a vital ingredient in effective communication as it allows individuals to connect with others successfully. To achieve this level of connection, we must first understand that presence is not limited to rare, intense experiences but is available to us every day. Being present is about being aware of the current moment and not reacting or judging based on it. To develop our ability to be present, we must reflect on the things that help us stay connected and recognize the things that distract us. Moreover, being honest with oneself and accepting the reality of a situation contributes to our ability to be present. By doing this, we can more easily identify and be reflective about our emotional states and be more thoughtful in our reactions, which helps us avoid unnecessary conflicts. The power of reflective pauses in conversations. Have you ever wondered how to have more meaningful conversations? The key is to consciously choose when to speak or listen, and recognizing choice points in conversations. The first step is to get to know yourself better by paying attention to when you naturally choose to speak, and when you should leave space for others. Practicing being aware of when to speak and listen will enable you to engage in more fulfilling and scintillating talks with others. Overcoming unhelpful conflict styles. Learn about the 4 unproductive conflict styles and how to replace them with more constructive ways of communication. Do you find yourself in conflicts with others, blaming them for the issues at hand? The problem may not entirely lie with the other person. Often, our unproductive conflict styles are to blame for ineffective communication. To improve our interactions with others, we must recognize and replace these styles with constructive communication methods. Blaming is a common conflict style that only makes the situation worse. Instead of attacking the other person's behavior, we should focus on our actions, taking ownership of our share of the dispute. Avoiding conflict entirely also exacerbates problems. By ignoring or diverting the subject, we can't address the issue or come to a resolution. There are 4 primary unhelpful conflict styles. Conflict avoidance involves evading confrontation entirely. Competitive confrontation involves aggressively asserting one's point of view without considering the other person's perspective. Passivity involves giving up before even trying to find a solution by always agreeing with the other person, even if it means sacrificing one's beliefs. Passive aggression is another indirect form of confrontation that involves using seemingly harmless comments to express one's anger or dissatisfaction. To have more productive conversations, we need to replace these unhelpful conflict styles with healthier methods. By acknowledging the issue and talking through it calmly and constructively, we can reach mutually beneficial solutions instead of falling into a blame game. Learning to listen actively and empathetically also helps. It is vital to consider the other person's perspective and understand their point of view. In conclusion, by recognizing our unproductive conflict styles and replacing them with constructive communication methods, we can avoid blaming others and take ownership of our part in the conflict. Through healthy communication, we can resolve issues and foster relationships effectively. The power of intention. Good communication requires setting the right intention, which involves curiosity and care towards others. Communication involves disagreements, but these are not always negative. Instead, working through differences with a partner or a friend can strengthen the relationship's intimacy. This process's success resides in the intention behind the conversation, which serves as the most powerful element. With the right intentions, instead of falling into habitual patterns of blame, people create genuine connections with others. Instead of judging and controlling experiences to chase pleasure and avoid pain, individuals can focus on understanding using curiosity and care. Curiosity sparks the interest in learning and recognizing aspects not yet known, such as what matters to oneself or others. Asking questions and remaining open to learn from a conversation or situation, people shift towards wanting to know more over jumping to conclusions right away. This approach improves the quality of communication since everyone responds better to curiosity than to accusations. The second word, care, refers to goodwill and the willingness to pay attention. It assumes that everyone has something valuable to contribute, making it essential to respect the other person's needs as a valuable human. By seeing each other as such and committing to acknowledging and respecting those needs, people can improve their communication and establish deeper connections. The key to successful communication lies in intentionally adopting curiosity and care towards others, leading to profound and meaningful conversations. The importance of listening. Have you ever found yourself in an argument where it seems like the other person just isn't hearing you? The truth is, listening is key to maintaining a connection in a conversation. When someone tells us we're not listening, it's often a call for empathy. One way to make the other person feel heard is to use reflection, which involves checking in to confirm that you're hearing the intended message. This tool not only helps get the message across but also establishes empathy, making the difference between a productive discussion and a nasty fight. Reflecting won't always feel natural, but with sincere intention, it can keep connections alive. Needs matter. Successful communication is rooted in recognizing our needs and those of others. Our needs drive all our actions, from the basics of food and shelter to more abstract ones like creativity and fulfillment. Though conflicts may arise due to strategies developed to meet our needs, understanding the needs behind them can lead to mutually fulfilling solutions. By recognizing the deep inner concerns behind our words and actions, we can create harmony with ourselves and others. Decode your emotions. The book helps readers to understand the importance of emotions and how to manage them using emotional agility. The author emphasizes that emotions are signals that alert us to our needs, and when we learn to decipher their messages, we can better our lives. Many cultures view emotions as irrational, harmful, or scary, leading individuals to suppress or ignore their feelings. However, unacknowledged emotions can cause harm to us and impair our communications with others. The key message is that emotional agility involves being able to name, experience, and express emotions openly, without judgment or blame. By becoming more aware of our emotions, we can be more conscious about how we choose to participate in conversations. Communication without blame. Difficulty in communication arises when we judge and interpret others' actions. Blaming others can lead to a yelling match. The key to successful communication is to start by making an observation instead of a judgment. This can be achieved by using a neutral, concrete description of the situation that's independent of our interpretation. The observation can be tested by asking if it can be captured on camera. Starting with the fact helps in finding common ground and avoiding defensiveness. One critical thing to note is that many situations can have multiple interpretations, making it easier to hear the other person's point of view. The power of asking for what you need. It can be challenging to ask for help, but the key message is that asking is about finding a way to meet a need. When we ask for something, we acknowledge our dependence on others, which can make us feel vulnerable to rejection. However, the impulse to give and receive is natural. To experience the joy of giving and receiving, we must learn to ask for what we need. By making a request, we let others know our need and the specific action we'd like them to take. Clarity is the key to successful requests, which should be positive, specific, and flexible. By following these principles, all our needs can be met, and relationships can be strengthened. The dance of dialogue. A successful conversation requires attention to its different parts, such as framing and tracking, and understanding the rhythms of give and take that flow like a dance. Have you ever had a conversation that felt like a magical dance, effortless and enjoyable? Just like dancing, conversations have their own rhythms of give and take, and there are three main parts to a successful dialogue: expressing ourselves, listening intently, and resting. To start a conversation off on the right foot, it's important to frame it properly. This means beginning with something you have in common to create a feeling of working together rather than competing. For example, if you want to address a hurtful remark made by your partner, start with a discussion on understanding each other's needs. As the conversation progresses, it's crucial to track how it's going. This involves staying aware of both the process and content of the dialogue. By paying attention to the kind of conversation you're having, you can determine if it's just a logistical problem or if there's a deeper relational issue at hand. Additionally, it's helpful to be aware of who has the floor at any given moment, ensuring that everyone has a chance to speak and be heard. By practicing these principles of framing and tracking, the dance of dialogue can flow effortlessly. So next time you engage in a conversation, remember the importance of these different parts and the rhythms of give and take that make it a magical dance.
By the end of Say What You Mean, you will have grasped the importance of approaching communication with presence, the role of intention, how to recognize your and others' needs, and other key takeaways. Mastering these aspects helps you avoid the blame game, foster understanding, and develop emotional agility. Moreover, the book teaches practical techniques like reflection, observation, and framing to enhance the flow of dialogue and facilitate heartfelt expression. In essence, this book arms you with all the tools you need to communicate more effectively, cultivate meaningful relationships, and lead a fulfilling life.